So today is what? It's Yud base, right? It's Yud base. It's the 12th day of Av, 5779, and we are studying Shmuel Aleph, chapter 11, verse 7. And we are in the midst of the first challenge that came about to a challenge for Saul, leadership. He needed to be a king for that. What happened was, in that generation, right before he became a king, we're talking about days before, the people felt that the king of the Ammonite king, his name was Nachash, that the Ammonite king is about to attack. He was preparing his army. He was, doing his army maneuvers. He was brazen, and they felt threatened by him and by the Philistines, but by him specifically. Now, typically, in the past 400 years, throughout the time of the judges, when that happened, what did they do? They, prayed to God, and one of the judges would come and help them do tshuva and save them, and that's what would happen. They felt uncomfortable with the fact that there are so many, that there is no central government that is consistent, that is it's able to transfer power from generation to generation. It was a judge one off and another judge one off and another, each one from a different tribe, from a different corner. There was a period of time without judges. In between each judge, there was, no one for 12 years, 8 years, 20 years, So they felt uncomfortable, and despite the fact that generation was one of the most spiritual generations in Jewish history. The leader of the generation was Shmuel, who is equal to Moshe, and the people of the generation were also very, very at a high spiritual level. And what was expected of them is to do the right thing and believe in God. And instead, they decided that they wanted a king. So Shmuel got them a king, agreed to select a king, and he selected King Saul. And as soon as that happened, the Ammonite king Nachash attacked. Now, how did he attack? He didn't go full-fledged, attack the whole border, the whole Israel. He surrounded the outskirts, or the furthest town, the closest town to him, furthest town from the center of the action, the town of Yavesh Gilad. And the town of Yavesh Gilad, he told them, listen, I'm just going to...
Which side of the Jordan was that on?
It was on the Jordanian side nowadays, on the eastern side. And he told them, I'm just going to humiliate you. Because it was a town without special resources or anything. It was a small town. And he said, I'm just going to take one eye from each one of you men. Just to humiliate the Jewish people, to humiliate them. And see, let's see what you guys can do against something crazy like that. He did it as soon as he heard that Saul became a king, that they elected a king. So he said, let's test the water here. And the people of Yavesh Gilad, they didn't have communications, special communication. They were surrounded, so they came up with an idea. He says, listen, if you want to humiliate just us, it's one thing. What good will that do to you? You want to humiliate the entire Jewish people? That's a good idea. Let us send messengers to the entire Jewish people to tell them all what is going to happen. Now you know and we know that nothing, they're not going to protect us. So then you'll do your thing, and then you will humiliate the entire Jewish people. They were hoping that that's not what will happen, which is indeed that's not what happened, but they were looking for a way for some extension so they can get help. So they sent people, messengers, throughout the entire country. Again, there was no central government yet. There was a king, but he was not really functioning yet as a king. He went back to his home, and it was sort of a failed inauguration party. After the inauguration, people were saying, who needs this Fredo? Who are you? Some of them were standing on the side. We're not going to support him. So it wasn't really, everybody was rallying behind him, but a bunch of people did, and they went with him, and they gave him the respect and the honor. Excuse me. But a lot of people didn't. Anyway, so they couldn't send information to one place and says, okay, now just put it all on the wire and let's get on prime time and let's announce to everybody. So they sent messengers to each one of the tribes. Now, when the messengers arrived at the tribe of Benjamin, and they told them, and exactly then Saul came back from the field where he was still sort of recovering from this, trying to figure out what's the next move that he has to do. And everybody was crying. All the Jewish people were saying, this is what we're afraid of, that the Ammonite king is going to attack us. And here he started attacking us by attacking the first town closer to him. And we don't have an army. They didn't have an army. We did not an organized army. They had the small units, which we'll see, but not something serious. And so they all were depressed. They all just cried because, if one town falls, guess what? The next one and the next one will follow. So what to do? So Saul came and says, what are you all crying? What are you all depressed about? What's the problem? So they told him that the people of Yavesh Gilad told him, the messengers, that they are about to lose their eyesight. They're going to be they're going to poke their eyes. But Itzlach, so then the wind of bravery, the wind of God came upon him, and he became very, very fierce and upset, and he's going to do something about it. So that's where we left off. So he started, he needed very quickly an army. And he didn't have time to go to Congress and get approvals, and he just needed an army now, So he came back from the field, and he had the cattle with him. So Vaikach Tzemet Bakar, so he took two cows, Vayenatcheu, and he basically slaughtered the cows and chopped them to 12 pieces, 6 and 6 or 12 and 12, I don't know. He chopped them off. Vayishalach b'chol gvul Yisrael biyad hamalachim, and he sent those same messengers who came to tell him about the problem from Yavesh Gilad. He told them, now I'm going to continue. You want help? I'm going to send you with help. Take this piece of meat and go to the tribe of Reuven, and you take this piece of meat and go to the tribe of Shimon, and send them to all of the tribes, and send them with a message, not only with a hunk of meat. He told them, Asher lemo asher enenu yotzeh achrei Shaul, he who is not going to come to rally behind Saul in the war, in the upcoming war, v'achar Shmuel, and he was talking in the name of Shmuel. Shmuel anointed him and gave him, said, do whatever you need to do, basically. So Shmuel was not there at the moment, and he told him, so he spoke in the name of Shmuel. He felt that he has Shmuel behind him. So כה יעשה לבקרו, that if you're not going to join me, you see the sound of me? That's what will happen to all of your cattle. Plain and simple. We're going to make steak out of all of them unless you join us. And so all of the Jews, were afraid, to lose what they have. But what happens to someone who doesn't have cattle, or someone who has only one cow, or has, it's ויפול פחד השם על העם ויצאו כאיש אחד. They suddenly got the fear of God. Not usual, not normal, It's like you get a letter in the mail that you have to do something, but the fear that you get out of it is way more abnormal fear. It's the fear of God. They finally realized the severe message was such that they said, this is a messenger of God is sending us. This is the king of the Jews. And he's was selected by God to help us to do that. We better listen. Now the irony here is very, very interesting. The irony is that if you recall 100 years ago in Tanakh, we had the story of Pilegesh Bagiva. Right? Pilegesh Bagiva was a group rape of a poor lady that was sleeping overnight at a house in the tribe of Binyamin area. And the owner of that maid was very upset that they killed her like that, raped her and killed her, let her die. So he chopped her to 12 pieces and sent her, which is insane, it was not totally normal, and send her the pieces of her to each one of the tribes, and said, "This is what happened." So they all got upset, and they all came together to retaliate from the tribe of Benjamin, and try to now the elders of that time, of the leaders of the Jewish people at that time, asked and requested and demanded for each tribe to come and join the civil war against the tribe of Benjamin. And they said, he who is not going to join, we're going to kill them as well. And who didn't join? The people of Yavesh Gilad. The only town, this is the town that was attacked now, the only town that didn't join that party, that war, was the people of the Yavesh Gilad, because they had some familial relationship with Benjamin, and for whatever reason they didn't join. So they ended up all get killed as well. Most of the tribe of Benjamin and the people of Yavesh Gilad, they were all wiped out, and the people of Yavesh Gilad, the only ones that were left were 400 girls that were not married yet, and they're the ones that they put together with the remaining men of tribe of Benjamin, so the tribe of Benjamin is not going to get lost. So now it's all happening in reverse. The tribe of Benjamin that was attacked and was, ostracized and, was on the wrong side of history, now produced a king. And that king is using the same, let's slaughter something to 12 pieces and send it around to gather everybody together in order to save the people of Yavesh Gilad. Everything is
Yavesh Gilad was what tribe?
Yavesh Gilad was the tribe of Menashe, I believe. So everything everything is the opposite of what happened before. To sort of the irony, or for whatever reason, that's exactly what happened. To show that there is exactly the opposite side to everything that happened in the world. There is the good side and the evil side, and they're all basically equal, and they fight all the time. So now we have the same thing. Now what did Saul mean to say when he slaughtered the cows and sent them? He said, this kind of animal that's dismembered is not really worth much. out there if you want to sell a cow. No, nobody will buy that. The pieces has to be together. The Jewish people has to unite. In order for us to save ourselves, we have to unite. Anyway, so they all came. They all got the fear of God, and they all came. Vayitzu ki ish echad, and as one man. Vayifkedem bebazek, and he counted them throughout the entire his time of the Shoftim. I think maybe once they did count them, but there was never a situation where they counted the soldiers. The soldiers as an official count. Let's take a head count, and this is our army. The last time that happened in a serious way was before the Jews were entering the land of Israel, and they were counted by Moshe. Now they were counted again. Now, there is a law that something that's counted, there is no real blessing in it. If you count your money backwards and forward and forward and backwards, it's not going to get more. You're not going to have more of it. And there is a saying that the bracha is the blessing is really bestowed on something which is not counted, that you don't know the exact number. So you finally find that you have more. It's like a well that never ends. If you count it, you know exactly how much you have. It's not going to be more. So how is it correct to count people? To count the soldiers, how is the bracha, the blessing for the army to be strong? So the point is that you never really count the soldiers. You don't say one, pointing to people 1, 2. This is why we're also not counting for minyan. We're saying not 1, not 2, not 3, right? Shiat Amecha, or we say a pasuk, Shiat that has 10 words, and so Shiat Amecha uvarech et nachlatecha. We're missing. So what did they do? They counted. So what is bazek? So it's like machatzit shekel. So some say that they counted stones. That each one of the people had to bring a piece of a stone, a rock, a small rock. They put the rocks in a basket, and then they counted the baskets. They counted the rocks in a basket, and that's how they knew how many people were there. Some say that they counted them and they didn't mention how. And bazek, so some say that bazek, that's the rocks. That's the name of the rocks. Some say bazek is the place. In any event, they counted them, and they came up with a census. Vayu bnei Israel 300,000 ve'ish Yehuda 30,000. So they had 300 from no army. They suddenly had a mighty army of 300,000 people. That's a big army even today. It's a big army. 300,000 men plus 30 men. 30 men of Yehuda. Why are they counting the tribe of Judah separately? They counted the tribe of Judah because the tribe of Judah were the mightiest. They were the strongest. They were the more experienced ones. They were the guards of the entire Jewish people, the nation of Israel, the southern border, and a little bit to the east and west.
30,000.
30,000, and they were the most experienced ones at the time of Shimshon. They were the ones that were called to help. They were the ones that were protected the area where the Bet HaMikdash was in Shiloh, just to protect that part of the world. Now, they were told by Jacob when they were blessed, when the tribes were blessed, the tribe of Judah was told that the tribe of Judah is going to lead the army. So that's where they took it. Now, in terms of numbers, they were not more than the rest of them. We had about 11 tribes, right, other than the tribe of Levi. Each one 30,000. So it's 330. So that's exactly what we had. So number-wise, there was not significantly more, any more from the tribe of Judah. But they were the elite unit of that army. So they counted separately. ויאמרו למלאכים הבאים, כה תאמרון לאיש יבש גלעד. So then, after those messengers who went all over to deliver the message from Saul, to deliver the piece of meat, and they came back with the troops. Now they are ready. It's already 7 days by now, and they're ready to go back to their hometown, to the people of Yavesh Gilad, to deliver the answer from the Jewish people, from the king of the Jews. Tell them that tomorrow you'll have a redemption. Bechom hashemesh. In other words, tomorrow midday there will be you'll have a redemption. Put on the fire the chont. We'll have a big party and high noon. ויבואו המלאכים ויגידו לאנשי יבש וישמחו. So they delivered the message, and naturally the recipients of the message, the people of Yavesh Gilad, were very happy. ויאמרו אנשי יבש מחר נצא עליכם. So now אנשי יבש גלעד, the people of Yavesh Gilad, have to answer back to the Ammonite king. Are they ready for their eye poking ceremony, right? So they told him, don't worry, don't bring the army, just bring your pokers. We're not going to fight. Tomorrow we're going to come to you, and you're going to do v'asitem lanu kechol hatov benechem, and you'll do whatever is right in your eyes. We alerted all the Jewish people. There will be a public national humiliation. Don't you worry, we are coming. Vayim imacharat, so the very next day, vayasem Shaul et ha'am shlosha rashim. Saul divided the army. He had 330 soldiers. He divided them to 3 heads. I guess 110,000 people in each, soldiers in each. And early morning, on the 3rd part of the night, when it's harder to keep up, if you stayed up on Shavuos, that when 3-4 o'clock in the morning hits, that's not the time to stay up. So at that moment, vayaku et Ammon ad chom hayom. They attacked. Excuse me. They attacked Ammon in dawn at early morning, and they continued to fight till the middle of the day. So first of all, a lot of them died on the spot because they were asleep, and those who were left, and they were scattered. All the rest of them were scattered in the Arabian desert, in the part of Gilad desert over there. They were scattered, and not 2 of them they were running in all directions, and you couldn't find 2 of them together. They were all men for their with their own lives, were running around. Now, we, just like we are now, we don't have any interest in just killing for the sake of killing. So we didn't chase them. We didn't try to eradicate them, you came to attack us, we kill you here. If you run away, good for you, you're lucky. Vayomer ha'am el Shmuel. All right. So now the people saw that they have a king. The people saw that the king was able to rally the troops behind him, and they had a security situation. And they won, overnight, no problem. Amazing, right? We selected the right king. Now, they all remember the 2, 3, 4 days before that, when there was the ceremony, a couple of weeks before that, when they had the ceremony to inaugurate the king. Not everybody was happy about it. You had a whole bunch of people that say, that's not our president. That's and they were really disparaging, the king. So Shmuel, who came also with the people as part of the attack, they approached Shmuel and told him, "Who are those people who at the time said we're laughing at this king? Who's this? Shaul is going to be our king." מי אומר שאול ימלוך עלינו? תנו אנשים ונמיתם. They desecrated the honor or disrespected the honor of a king. You disrespect the honor of the king, that's, off with the head. So give us those people, let's find those people and let's kill them all, because it's very important to maintain respect for authority. If you don't have respect, so it's good to kill the few, so the rest of the country, the rest of the people will maintain respect, right? That's the natural course of action. So Shaul was there, intervened and says, today nobody is going to die. Today is I don't want to create sorrow within the Jewish people. We had an amazing win. Let us all be together and celebrate. So some say that he says, today we're not going to. Some other day maybe we will, but today let us celebrate. That's how he got the people off the attack to steer trouble internally. And tomorrow nobody remembered already, so there was something else on the news. So they ended up not killing them. Ki hayom asa Hashem tshuva b'Yisrael, because today, God made a big redemption and a big miracle to us. So nobody should die. Now, problem is that he probably should have done something, and because what happened is that later on, not too much in the future, there will be people who he suspected disrespected his orders, and he killed the entire town. And so this swings between, let them all be nice, I'm the nice king, to let them kill them all. The swing was too fast and it's not considered, it's inconsistent behavior. And we will see soon what is the root cause of that inconsistent behavior. Because don't forget, 2-3 weeks ago, when he was anointed and selected by Shmuel, God said, this is the best guy in town. This is the best guy in the nation. There's not just a Shmo. So, it's the best guy, right? So then, after this win, and after they sort of recalled the shameful inauguration party, the first one that was not so hot, so Shmuel offered, let's do it again. Let's do another party, Let's do another inauguration, and now we will all know and feel what is going on here. I mean, this is a special man. This is a special situation. We can't. So instead of putting the foot down and killing people, let's just do another inauguration. Let's now go back to the Gilgal, the place where they did it before, and now we are going to before it was in the Mitzpeh. I'm sorry. It was in the Mitzpeh. Now it's in the Gilgal. Different place, I think. Yes.
What do you think?
Yeah. What?
What do you think the relationship is between this section and Parshat Korah?
Yeah, we'll get there. So Shmuel says, let us go and let's reenact it. Let's do another inauguration, and we will renew our commitment to the kingdom, to have a king in Israel. So they all followed. Now he said, he made it as an optional event. It wasn't like you must, otherwise, you're going to be punished. He suggested. So they all came, they all listened, and they all came. And they inaugurated him again. לפני השם בגלגל. in front of God. Again, maybe they brought the ark there, maybe there was a shul over there, not exactly clear. ויזבחו שם זבחים שלמים, and they made the sacrifices, and he's calling a double name here. Zvachim is basically the type of sacrifice which is of the kind of shlamim. So they call it double, again, to show that it was a really super respectful event at this time. ויזבחו שם זבחים שלמים לפני השם, in front of God. וישמח שם שאול וכל אנשי ישראל עד מאוד. And they were very, very happy. Shaul was happy finally that he was accepted as a king. The Jewish people were very happy that they have a king, that's worth it. It's not just, a guy that, just goes to his with his sheep, with his cattle, like what happened after the first inauguration, that he went back home and, just continued his life, basically. And everybody was happy. Now you ask, what is the connection to Korach? So from this pasuk here, when Shmuel says, let's go to the Gilgal and we'll renew the Melucha, this is the beginning of the Haftarah of Parashat Korach. What is the story of Korach? Korach was disputing the leadership of Moshe, and he said, "Who are you to lead us? Why you? I'm as good as you. Why are you getting all the best jobs?" And we know what happened to Korach. The same type of situation happened here. A whole bunch of people said, "Who are you, Mr. Shaul, to lead us?" So what we're reading in the Haftarah is the answer. Is the answer that Shmuel basically gave them. You see the guy is real, but, and that's the but is the main message here. So let's talk about it a little bit. And so we finished the chapter 11. Now we're going into chapter 12. What is chapter 12? Chapter 12 is the farewell words of Shmuel to the Jewish people. After this, they're not going to hear publicly much of him. He will very soon get off the stage. He will meet Shaul one or two more times, and that's it. And will end the last couple of years of his life alone, being an old man. He was only 50, died at the age of 52. Not old at all. But he aged quickly because God didn't want him to see the demise of Saul. Okay? So he died before Saul. Saul was a king for 2.5 years. About a year into Saul's ruling term, Shmuel passed away. A year and a half.
But the Shmuel goes on for quite a ways.
Yeah. They have a few more chapters till he actually died. About a few more chapters are description of a couple of wars, a couple of battles. It's not a long time. It's a lot of words, but not a long time. So Shmuel, what did Shmuel do during that time? He wrote the book of Shmuel and the book of Judges, and some say the book of Ruth. Okay, so he wrote a bunch of. He went to write his memoirs, right? He went to write the Jewish history, so we have it now, so we can learn it. But before he sort of stepped off the stage, because he felt that the Jewish people were asking for a leader. Until now, he was the leader. Now you don't need me. I was the judge. I was the leader of the generation, just like in the past 400 years. But now you wanted a king. Here's a king. You don't need me. So he's basically saying goodbye. After the inauguration, after everybody was rallied around behind the king, you don't need me. Now, what's happening is he is not happy and is not making peace with the fact that we selected a king. Because as we mentioned several times, we asked for a king too early. even though the generation was almost ripe to have a king. A king supposed to rally us behind God. A king is a conduit to unite the people behind the rule of God. The king is not someone who's supposed to just make up their own. They're a messenger of God. God put them here in order to rally. Now, the point is that if the people are at a high enough level, the king can lift them to a much higher level. You don't need the king for jaywalking. You can have the king for spiritual enlightenment. They asked too early, so now they have the king for jaywalking and for mundane stuff. Now, so Shmuel wanted to recount, to summarize the time of the judges and tell the Jews why it wasn't such a smart idea to choose a king. But now that you chose a king, you better behave, because it can be taken away from you. If you're not going to do the right thing, Hashem natan, Hashem lakach. The same God who gave the king can take the king away. And which is what ended up happening, unfortunately. So Shmuel needed to rebuke the people. He wanted to leave them with a very strong message. Now, what happens when someone that comes and deliver a message that you don't like and says, you have a splinter in your teeth, a small. So, what are you telling me about a splinter in my teeth? You have a whole log between your eyes, Like, what are you telling me about the pimple? You have a whole gushing something on your face. It's people are very, very defensive and very easily attack back. They don't like to be rebuked. So what does Shmuel do? Shmuel is making a very smart move. He is first not starting with a rebuke. He's starting with with recounting all of the greatness of the generation, with the utmost respect for the Jewish people, with the total. You guys, put them all on a pedestal. And you guys are amazing. And then get their approval that he was okay, that there is nothing that they can tell him. That there is no, did I do anything wrong? No, you get a clean bill of health. You're the best ever. Nothing. Now that you told me that I'm the best, now let me tell you what I really think about you. Okay? So, because then they cannot come and say, you're just looking to steer trouble, or you're looking for this. So he was, basically engineering this whole message in a very smart way. Is Mincha now already?
Yes. In 2 minutes.
In 2 minutes. Okay.
Less than a minute.
Okay, so we'll continue with chapter 12 next time. Next time I am not here, so